This presentation will focus on the second half of Unit 4, which is about be and there was or there were. It's on pages 48 through 49. So the first chart is 3.1. It tells about the simple past of be in affirmative and negative statements. It's exactly the same setup as the simple present of be. Instead of saying I am at Stanford, we say I was at Stanford. This is a chart of the simple past of be. So I was, and he, she, or it was. The rest of them are all were. It's slightly different than the simple present of be, which is I am, you are, he, she, or it is, and the rest of them are. In the simple past, we only have two forms to worry about, was or were. Chart 3.2 explains using simple past of be in yes or no questions and short answers. And again, it's the same as it is in the simple present of be. So, is she popular becomes was she popular. This chart tells about information questions with simple past of be. So lately we have been talking about whether or not you have the subject and which kind of question you should ask. So this first chart is what you use when you need more information about the subject. So an example is, where was she? The answer is she was at the park. You have the subject. You want to know more about what she was doing. So the subject, which is at the end of the question, moves to the first part of the answer. For the second chart is the WH word without a subject, okay? This one, again, you use when you don't have a subject. An example is, who was there yesterday? Alicia was there yesterday. Okay, in this one, the subject replaces the WH word in the question. If you notice the question, who was there yesterday? Alicia was there yesterday. The whole sentence stays the same. The only thing that changes is the first word, the subject. You have one more table at the end. Well, two more tables, actually. The first one is 3.4. It talks about using there was or there were. So we use there was or wasn't for a singular or a non-count noun. The example they give you is there was a problem. Problem is singular, so you use there was or was not. There were or there weren't is for plural nouns. The example is there were some problems. So then we use were. The chart at the bottom, 3.5, is using there was and there were. So A says we use these two, there was not or there were not, to talk about things that did or did not exist in the past, okay? So instead of saying, for the example sentence, before Google, there were other search engines, you could say before Google, other search engines existed. There were is the same as saying existed. Okay? Exist means to be. The second part, what research shows, is that there was or there were is more common in writing than there wasn't any or weren't any. So at the top, there was no software or there were no programs is more common than there weren't any. And letter B is the form of be always agrees with the noun that it follows. So the example is there were because of engines. It's not there was because engines is plural.